Good morning. It's Thursday morning. It's early, but if I don't do this now, the day will get away from me and I won't be able to do the program. I just have to leave here about 7, so that leaves me about 45 minutes. So I need to get the program and get it loaded and posted and all that stuff. I've got things to do this morning and this afternoon. I might be back this evening, but I don't tell them what kind of shape I'll be in, so we'll do it now while I got some energy and some brains left, right? The early part of the day is the best time for me because it's before I run out of gas, before I feel uh, down or get worn out. I love all you people for watching me and listening to me teach. It's real important to me. I like doing it. I'm glad that I can tell you what I've learned and what I see, but it kind of gives me a point to get to. It gives me something to keep me going. Uh, I used to think that everybody ought to write commentaries of the Bible, all serious Bible students. But since my ability to write has been trimmed down, and nowadays I dictate rather than write, and then clean it up on the computer because of that brain surgery. Same reason I have trouble reading and have to listen to books. Um, it gives me a point to walk to, a handle. The teaching gives me something to focus upon, and so I do it. Uh, this is all kind of one deal. I want to back up a little bit. We got Jeremiah. Nebuchadnezzar commands Jeremiah to be set free because the king is well aware of Jeremiah and his ministry, and he knows that that Jeremiah had tried to get people to give up and quit fighting, and would have saved many lives, would have saved the city and the house of God from being burned. Nebuchadnezzar knows all this, so he frees Jeremiah, but then we have a flashback where Jeremiah is in jail. Then we have the details of him being freed. Now, I told you that the book of Jeremiah is not in sequential order, but this is in 586 BC at the fall of Jerusalem, immediately after Jeremiah was still in the prison. Remember, the Ethiopian eunuch, Ebed-Melech, talked King Zedekiah into letting Jeremiah out of the dungeon. He was down in that hole where it was sunk down in the mire, and they had to drop down cloths tied together, rags tied together to lift him out of there so that he wouldn't die. We're going to back up a little bit, and we'll go pick up with chapter 39, beginning verse 11. Now Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, gave charge concerning Jeremiah to Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, saying, "Take him and look well to him, and do him no harm, but do unto him even as he shall say unto thee." And Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, sent, and Nebuchadnezzar, Rabsaris, Nergal-Sharezer, Rabbag, and all the king of Babylon's princes. Even they sent and took Jeremiah out of the court of the prison, and committed him unto Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan. They should carry him home. So he dwelt among the people. Now the word of the Lord came unto Jeremiah while he was shut up in the court of the prison, saying, Go and speak to Ebed-Melech the Ethiopian, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel. Behold, I will bring my words upon this city for evil, and not for good, and they shall be accomplished in that day before thee. But I will deliver thee in that day, saith the Lord, and thou shalt not be given into the hand of the men of whom thou art afraid. For I will surely deliver thee, and thou shalt not fall by the sword, but thy life shall be a prey unto thee, because thou hast put thy trust in me, saith the Lord. Thou shalt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. Did I quote that correctly? I know I came close. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. Thou wilt. Now we come into verse 40 where Jeremiah, we have the details of Jeremiah being turned loose from the prison. Loose him and let him go. That's what Jesus said at the tomb of Lazarus. And then to that woman that had the case of her ailment all those years, 18 years was it? This daughter whom Satan hath bound lo these 18 years. Should she not have been healed on the Sabbath day? He said, woman, thou art loosed. Well, here is where Jeremiah gets loosed. Chapter 40, verse 1. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord after that Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, had let him go from Ramah, when he had taken him being bound in chains among all that were carried away captive of Jerusalem and Judah, which were carried away captive unto Babylon. And the captain of the guard took Jeremiah and said unto him, the Lord thy God had pronounced this evil upon this place. See, they knew they'd been reading the letters that Jeremiah and Ezekiel were exchanging, that the other people in the captivity were exchanging with the king and the king's court in Judah. Now the Lord hath brought it and done according as he has said, because ye have sinned against the Lord and have not obeyed his voice. Therefore, this thing has come upon you. This is the Chaldean general talking here. And now, behold, I loose thee this day from the chains which are upon thine hand. If it seem good unto thee to come with me into Babylon, come. I will look well unto thee. But if it seem ill unto thee to come with me into Babylon, forbear. Behold, all the land is before thee, whether it seemeth good. And convenient for thee, thither go. You see, Jeremiah was in the jail. Nebuzaradan, the captain of the Babylonians, captain of the guard, he carries him in chains with a bunch of other people up to Ramah. Ramah's where Samuel lived during the days before David, back at the end of the time of the judges and the beginning of the kingdom of Israel. So what we see has happened here is Jeremiah's in jail. Nebuchadnezzar commands that he be let out of jail. He was taken prisoner out of the jail with a bunch of other people and led away to Ramah. While he was at Ramah, the word gets to Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, and he's in chains. Nebuzaradan lets him go and says, you can either stay here, or you can go with me to Babylon, or you can go wherever you want to go. The whole land is open to you. That's quite a proposition, isn't it? Where would you go if somebody said the land is open to you? I used to say I'd go to California, but I always liked California. I tried to live out there a couple of times when I was young, but it just didn't work out. But back then, 50 years ago, I I liked the hustle and the bustle. I liked the movies they were making. I wanted to get into the movies. I was still pursuing the cares of this life, as it were. And I didn't so much want to be in the movies as I wanted to write movies. And so I got myself from talking to people and making friends with people. And I made a couple of friends that were from Texas. I was real lucky. And Randy Quaid was out there. And Randy, dad, and my dad, Randy's dad, Buddy Quaid, and of course, there's Danny and Dennis, Randy and Dennis Quaid. Now, although they're both older than me, but Dennis is closer to my age, Randy's the one I remember because he used to come to work with his daddy like I did. And they was partners, his dad and my dad, uh, in the electrical contracting business 60 years ago, early 60s, in Houston, Texas, which was a boom town then. And I don't guess it ever quit booming. It's still going, isn't it? Of course, everything's paved over. You can't drive across town without getting in a wreck. People drive crazy there. I could never live there again. But I got out to California. And met Randy, and he gave me a couple of numbers, and told me who to call, and Noble Willingham, who most people know as I think it's a CJ or something, and CW. I don't know. He was the guy that ran the bar and cafe on Walker, Texas Ranger. He was a retired ranger. He had been one of my teachers in high school, and he was out there. Uh, anyway, I got in at CBS Film School. Ridiculously low price. It cost like $50 a month to go to the school, but it got me on the lot. And every show that CBS was making at the time, I would find out who the story editor was and who was doing the writing, and I would write story ideas, and I would give story ideas to all these people, and sometimes they'd take them, sometimes they wouldn't, but I did not make the cut, but I tried. It was something I wanted to do, but nowadays I wouldn't go to California, but I thought that it was the prettiest place I ever saw. Went down to San Diego one time. Thought that was like the gem of the world, Well, it's been a long time ago. Now I think I'd probably just go to Southwest Texas, where my family come from, and just fade into the sagebrush. That's the kind of life that I might have to live someday. And if the powers that be decide they want to come after me, I'll just have to kind of drift away, like the old. Dobie Gray, was that his name? Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I want to get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Drift away. But you see, those are desires of the flesh. And we talked yesterday about the desires of the flesh and how we get sidetracked. If my affections are set on Christ, I'm going to want to be around people because I'm going to be wanting to witness to people to lead them to Christ before it's too late and they go off into eternity without Christ and have to suffer the torment of a devil's hell. I never have gotten there. I've heard preachers call it a devil's hell, but it's the hell that was created. The fire, the lake of fire was created for the devil and his angels. But it's not the devil's hell. It's shared equally, because Satan will not rule in hell. He will be tormented day and night forever and ever, along with everybody else that he's led there since Cain. All the land is before thee. Behold, all the land is before thee. Whither it seemeth good and convenient for thee to go, thither go. Well, this is a Babylonian general's idea of what would be good for Jeremiah. It was good Jeremiah had liberty to go, but Jeremiah was going to try to go where God told him to go. See, I didn't learn this, man, until I was older. I must have been in my 50s before I settled my rear end down and I said, okay, I'll do whatever he tells me to do. I'll go wherever he tells me to go. I was really late to the game. I encourage you younger men, don't be late. You know, the whole land is before you. Go whither it seems convenient to you and good. Well, sometimes good and convenient is not what God wants for us. We have to follow the Lord. Of course, Jeremiah does. And now said Nebuzaradan, behold, I loose thee this day from the chains which were upon thine hand. If it seemeth good unto thee to come with me into Babylon, cool. No, seems good to come with me into Babylon, come, and I will look well unto thee. But if it seem ill unto thee to come with me into Babylon, forbear. Behold, all the land is before thee. Whither it seemeth good and convenient for thee to go, thither go. Jeremiah, thou art loosed. Verse 5, now, while he was not yet gone back, he said, this is talking about Nebuzaradan. He had not yet returned to Babylon. He says, go back also to Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, whom the king of Babylon hath made governor over the cities of Judah. You see, this is the grandson of Jeremiah's old friend who got him out of trouble several times, got him out of jail one time, kept him from getting killed one time, encouraged him to run and hide. Well, apparently Gedaliah had gone over to the Chaldeans and obeyed the voice of the Lord, because I know it sounds contrary to what everybody would think is right. But God, keep restating this, God told the leaders in Jerusalem, if you just give up, go out of the siege to the king of Babylon and surrender, I'll save your lives, the lives of your family, and I won't burn the place. You think about how many lives would have been saved if Nebuchadnezzar had not had to reduce Jerusalem by siege and then by storm. So, this Gedaliah, he's in charge now. He made, Nebuchadnezzar made him the governor. I'm sure a few dollars exchanged hands too, because that's the way business was done back then. You didn't become a servant of the king unless there was something you could give him. Gedaliah pledged his sword, and he knew the language, he knew the people. Judah was his home. And he'd come from a rich and prominent family. I'm sure that they had gold to put in the Nebuchadnezzar's coffers. So he got the job as the governor. And it just turns out that he is the grandson of a good old friend to Jeremiah. Now, while Nebuzaradan was not yet gone back, he said, go back also to Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, whom the king of Babylon hath made governor over the cities of Judah. And Jeremiah, dwell with him among the people. You be safe if you go back with Gedaliah. He's going to reestablish order. You know, they're going to plant some crops. They're going to have a harvest. And not only that, we're going to send grain. We're going to send meat. We're going to help you out. We're going to support this Gedaliah. And if you're with him, you'll get a piece of bread. You get something to eat. Uh, you'll be safe. You'll be protected. You know how it is at the end of the war. Uh, there's a lot of chaos going on, and not everybody is, on one side or the other. There are some people in this world whose only side is their own. And if they see an opportunity to loot, kill and steal, just like the devil who comes not but to kill, steal, and destroy, well, these people will do it. Every time there's a war, there's people like that. And the American Civil War, we called them bummers. Both the Yankees and the Confederates, after the war, they would be on the road. They would be broke and stranded, and they would just raid as if they were still soldiers and still fighting, with guns ablaze and whatever they had to do. And they would rape and pillage and steal hogs and cows and then rob the corn crib and do whatever they could do to survive. Because in a war and in the aftermath of a war, all the infrastructure is destroyed. Now, in ancient Judah, it was wasn't as sophisticated an infrastructure, of course, as we have, but there was an infrastructure. There was buying and selling and trade and supply. There was work, there was commerce, and that all stops during wartime. And after the war, it takes a while to get it back up going again. In the American Civil War, it took 100 years for the South to come back to the level they were in 1860. To the economic level, it took them nearly 100 years. And look at Europe after World War II and the Marshall Plan. We effectively went in there. Us and our allies effectively went into Europe and rebuilt it. First we destroyed it, then we rebuilt it. Americans are good at that. Go back also to Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, whom the king of Babylon hath made governor over the cities of Judah, and dwell with him among the people. Or, he's still giving Jeremiah the choice. Go wheresoever it seemeth convenient unto thee to go. Well, so the captain of the guard, this Nebuzaradan, he gave Jeremiah victuals and a reward and let him go. He said, here's you. Here is you a little steak. Here's you a little kit with some food in it. Got you a sack lunch. And here's a little money. You'll have some road money. If you get stopped by thieves, maybe you can buy your way out of it. So the captain of the guard gave him victuals and a reward and let him go. Then went Jeremiah unto Gedaliah the son of Ahikam to Mizpah, and dwelt with him among the people that were left in the land at Mizpah. He stayed in Judah. He put himself under the protection of Gedaliah the governor. You could call him a puppet governor that the king of Babylon had set up, but, Zedekiah was a wicked king that rebelled against the king of Babylon, and look what happened to him. Gedaliah saw that because he was one of the princes. He was one of Zedekiah's soldiers. He knew what was going on. And he was determined that he was going to do good by the people and by King Nebuchadnezzar. See, a man like Nebuchadnezzar knew that if the people were not satiated in some way, that they were going to rebel. Well, Nebuchadnezzar had removed the king who had rebelled, and now the people were tired, and all they wanted to do was have some place to rest and plant and eat and live. Yeah, that's what all these politicians forget about when they start these wars. It says, well, you know, uh, like Venezuela, we always got some crazy person wanting to invade Venezuela. Could it be that they have the largest oil reserves in the world? Could that be the reason? Maybe we want to invade them. I don't know. I'm just a poor preacher. All I know is, I used to say like Will Rogers, all I know is what I read in the papers. Well, you don't have any papers anymore. It's all online. The local city paper that used to come every day where I live comes, I don't know, 3 times a week. And by the time I get it, I already know everything that's in it. I even took it until a couple of years ago because I wanted to read the obituaries and the funnies. And then I found out that I could read the funnies online for free. And if anybody dies whose funeral I need to go to, uh, I'm going to hear about it. so, so there you go. Um, when they start these wars, they forget that people are just trying to live. You bomb people back into the Middle Ages, like we did in Iraq. Well, they weren't very far this side of the Middle Ages to start out with. You know what I'm saying? You may not like the way they live, the way they worship, or the things they do, and they're definitely enemies of everything that we would consider right: freedom, justice, God. They're heathen, but the people still just want to live. They want to have their piece of bread, like Jeremiah did. They want to have something to eat. They want to have a place to lay down and sleep. They want to have drinking water. They want to be able to wash and bathe their bodies at reasonable intervals. And they want to protect their children, and they will protect their children with their lives. It's common to everybody. This is what the people of Judah were doing after the war. There were no parades. There were no political meetings. Although we'll see that there are people who are still wanting to fight and take over as we go. Because, as they say, nature abhors a vacuum. And there was no king of Judah at the time. He'd been taken down. And so you know that there will be factions who will say, well, I'm king now. It's been going on from the beginning. When the crowns start to fall, you will always have some Yahoo ready to ascend the throne. Off with their heads. But you see, Nebuchadnezzar was the biggest and baddest of the day, and you didn't go against him. He made Gedaliah the governor. And they just dwelt among the people that were left in the land. Then went Jeremiah unto Gedaliah the son of Ahikam to Mizpah, and dwelt with him among the people that were left in the land. They were just trying to live. As you get older, you appreciate what that means. They were just trying to live. Velda and I are past the point where we're striving in our careers and trying to save. Our illnesses took up all our savings before we got on Medicare. You know, we understand what it is to just live, to just not strive for position or for fame or for attention or for money, but just to serve Jesus, to be the servant of the Master, and to do the things that He has on the schedule for us to do that day. We're not worried about the dollar tomorrow might bring. We have no fear of the goods we might lose in some disaster tomorrow. Although when the tornadoes come through, I'm always praying. Dr. Adrian doesn't pray. He doesn't even think about it, doesn't even affect it. He's been doing this work of the Lord for so long that he just takes it for granted that God is going to save him. So far he has. But as you get older, you realize what a treasure it is and what a challenge sometimes it is just to live. Just to get up, have something to eat, go about your daily tasks, whether it be chores or studying or preaching or whatever it is. Go through your daily tasks, go to bed tired, and get up the next day and do exactly the same thing again. It's just life. It's just living. There's no overarching drive to it or motivation. Like we don't have to grab the brass ring because we're out of the race. We're not on the carousel anymore. We don't have a chance to grab the ring. I don't see any giant paydays in my future like I used to, when we would accomplish something good on top of our work, our daily work. But also, I don't foresee any big disaster because we have insurance. We're old. We got a few dollars saved back for an emergency. But we put our trust in God just like Jeremiah did. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. And they just live. We just live just like Jeremiah did. Then went Jeremiah unto Gedaliah the son of Ahikam in Mizpah, and dwelt with him among the people that were left in the land. And that's essentially what I do. I dwell among the people who are like me, who are left. And we try to take the word of Christ to a lost and dying world. God bless you.